Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. That's not a good strategy. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. No, wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Ungard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spore. Mr. Ongard did not take his costume off during the break period. And in that case, the costume we're talking about there was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Sure. Yes, that is what I'm saying. How do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought the spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Koida, was a German ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point.
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue?
Yeah, no, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think that the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you.
Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was...
Yeah, beach.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at the conference.
I heard about this as well. Sorry. My spit went down the wrong pipe. What did I... For once, you're not making something up right. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how could that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold a press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as a Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet either. However, what I'm concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that concert. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as a Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard. What happens if Matt walked up there with the costume, right? Like he walked up there and then you just see another fucking Nickel Samurai on stage. It's like, whoa, there's 2 Nickel Samurais, who's who? Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, then that's not a confession. That's public disclosure. Public disclosure. Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me? I? A pro? My gosh.
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up.
Okay.
And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the German ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway. Even if you lose the Grand Prix, you always have another year. Like, who gives a shit? People want to have such high pride in the things that they do, man.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What?
I think also drinking this tea is making my throat like thick. No, thick is not the right word. There's like a coating of it, so it's like it's hard for me to do the raspy voice stuff.
Do you know what the secret of Mr. Engarde's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all.
Protect Mr. Engarde? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about their behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand. I was only trying to protect Matt, even though I set up his rival to have a spare costume so that he could spread news about my client. Okay. Client? What do you call... If Adrian is Matt's manager, what is Matt to Adrian? Is it client, partner, bitch? I don't know. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. How did you protect him? What? What did you do to protect...
This doesn't account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. God! Okay, whatever. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. I'm scared.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Upside down. So, like, what does that mean? I can't press? Like, what you trying to say? What you trying to fucking say, game? I'll have you know, I have a powerful tool at my disposal, and it's called saving. Okay. Let me press. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. What? What? That was weird. That came out weird in my head. You can hardly call that knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever... Come up. I'm failing. I'm shutting down. I need water. Okay, let me try this sentence again. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever I fucking goddamn it! Camouflage! 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 The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Clever camouflage. Clever what is it? A tongue twister? Clever camouflage. Okay. Moving on. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama. Isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Oh, thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. What? Be nice.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
Why? That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Mott. Oh. Oh. Wait a minute. Does that have something to do with the fact that there's blood on it? Does it have something to do with the fact that there's blood on it? If it was pulled off during the fight, there wouldn't be blood on it. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Are they? Wait a minute. Where did the blood come from? I thought, wasn't he strangled? Hold up. No, no. Oh, here it is. Strangled with scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Such a shallow. Wait, hold up. Where's the crime scene photo? No. Crime scene photo? Crime scene photo. It was such a shallow stab. How could there have been that much blood? Well, I still feel like it wouldn't have that much blood on it. Whatever. I don't know what to present here. Do I present this or do I present the crime scene photo? Crime scene photo? Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, boop. Do I present the crime scene photo? No? Do I have to press? Oh my god, I'm about to die. Do I have to press it? And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm prepared and you are not. And I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where? And what? You son of a bitch. I know the answer. I know the answer, but how do I prove it? I tried taking... I tried presenting the button, and I tried presenting the crime scene photo, so what's the next to... What is next to present? Present. What? This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stabbed to the victim was done after the victim had already died. What does that mean? I think I might have asked this before, but can you actually stab someone with a butter knife? Is a butter knife like strong, sharp, pointy enough that you can stab a man? Stab a man through clothes, just like pew pew. You stab a man and it goes pew pew. Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that if it was ripped off the costume, when? There you go. After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means it's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Order, order, order. What's the meaning? What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edward. Why was that button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know that this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? That's right! Does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? What was it? There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Ongard. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Ongard was set up by the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is... The real murderer, you mean? The real murderer is... That's all right. Who in the world is the real killer, then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer to the person who planned to frame Mr. Ongard is... Where is she? Oh, Teresa. With my last bit of health. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you! You're Mr. Corrida's killer! What?
Order! Mr. Wright! This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge?
1 second. Before it gets to a point where I can't save, let's save. Am I ruining the immersion? Good, let it. Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. What? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Try me, bitch. Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ongard naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Probably. I don't remember what, I didn't see what he said. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? We just explained what the fuck. This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ongard was a real killer, there's no way he would have put such an incriminating evidence on his own Hakama. So many glasses. The only person who could have put this button on Mr. Ongard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
RC, what about the empty guitar case?
Lord. That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. I'm just gonna stealthily put this on very sexily. Take a look at my back. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's just a dead body. It's just like, I'm dead, but I wish to see the back too. You also can't see her reflection in the mirror, but you can see the glasses. Vampire. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It could have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, Oh gosh, she looks even more sad here. Wait, no. But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found in the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out she had touched that case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was in the classic Dazed discoverer of the dead body. And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Matt Ongard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. I don't remember what happens here.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Oh? I don't remember this at all. Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify, the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
Why hasn't any other criminal invoked that law then? Are they dumb? What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday, Mr. Ongard's room. Agent Andrews. Oh fuck! I forgot that they had talked. Yes. Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood. All right. it. Honestly, nowadays, a lot of people know about pleading the fifth, though. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Mr. Andrews to not testify if things look bad. You did a good job proving everything up until this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edward?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up until this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial? We're not drawing a circle here.
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of Try it again. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrida?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking a defiant attitude. She's taking a defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do?
Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Okay. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. And the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do. And that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
Sorry. I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial,
Tomorrow? Oh no.
We don't have it tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. This isn't about that. Edward, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
I goofed on such an important line. But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Praise be Edward! It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edward, what are you?
It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews? When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and?
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testifies again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
Oh my goodness. Edward came through for us!
I don't know what it is about with Edward today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. He's a fro. Terrible.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim? Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial.
It's not that it was a trivial thing to include, it's that you said something completely different, my dude. My dude.
Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know.
Edgeworth, what in the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
That glass of juice I didn't pour for myself. I was surprised when I walked in the temple. To John Man, he was sitting up beside the toner. When I saw him, I thought he was dead and it crossed my mind. Oh, I should have saved. Then what did cross your mind?
I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought.
I see. So you didn't think he was dead at all?
To be honest, something or other. Let's see, because now I only have 1 peg of health. Living off on the edge. You thought he fainted?
I thought he was asleep at first, but then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone.
And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice.
Yes, he always had a hard time waking up. So Juan always had a glass of tomato juice to drink.
I see. And after that, what happened next?
When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
And how did you come to realize that he was, in fact, dead?
I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards.
You knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened.
Yes. This is what it all comes down to.
Huh?
This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now's our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case.
Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? So it's either... I wonder where I would present, cause like I think the idea that like she should have realized he was dead because of the knife in the... What's gonna happen if I fail? Oh, I got it right. Whoo! I was like, is I'm gonna fail here? So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body?
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Corrida's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. That's... Oh, you see... I doubt a single person in the world would make mistakes just for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie was proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. Oh, where'd my voice go?
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ungard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you.
You It was Matt! I swear it! He's the one who killed Juan! But you were the one who refused to testify! And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself! That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Oh, come on. You're already...
Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ongart's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually, the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ongart.
Edward! Not really coming to save the day, but maybe to come to save someone's day. Just not ours, I guess.
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth.
The absolute real truth? What are you...
Witness, don't you understand yet?
Huh?
I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ongart will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared.
It's Franziska von Karma.
Huh?
Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ongart will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in these words right now, and is clinging onto them.
Girl, if a girl fucking came out and told you, like, you'll be fine, you just need to hold your breath and never let go, even if you feel like fainting. Is she just gonna follow that, man? People be fucked. People be complicated.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority.
It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please. Someone help me.
Oh, that's all right.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court can't continue like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. And think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there. Right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of a man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
We gotta know the truth! We gotta know the truth, guys! We have to know the truth! You see, this is why it's so hard to play Dong on V3.
I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you're really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Mr. Arndo would get an acquittal, but in this place, you'd be found guilty. Is this really how you want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
Shut up, child. Child, shut up.
I don't even know what this child is. He's like, they sound like they're like a bajillion miles away, but they're... Kids' cries always be like traveling at the speed of light, just going places, man. It'd be fucking out there. The speed of light is traveling at the speed of light. Is traveling at the speed of light... the speed of light is a distance, right? Not a time thing. That's the whole thing behind that, right? Is that what? I can't remember now. Oh. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However, oh shit, I just remembered.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop!
Mr. Edgeworth!
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop! Please stop!
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. Alright, settle down. What would you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
You're fucking threatening her in court? The nerve!
The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please stop! I beg you, if people find out,
If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? It's because he said it before, so he's allowed to, I guess. However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. Oh shit.
I'll talk, but please, help me.
Fucking get this girl a goddamn therapist. Therapy didn't exist in these days.
Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
Girl? Stab the body? With the knife? But why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth.
The real killer is Matt! That scumbag of a man! I'll never forgive him! He's trying to escape his guilt again! Just like last time!
Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with the murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Ungard for the murder. And this is her crime.
My goodness. What? How was this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Miss Wright, please get over your shock and commence a cross-examination.
Oh, dear. What's happening now? So she's not the killer? Oh my god, I never knew.
Am I supposed to? Hold up, I don't trust my 1 peg of health, or rather 2 pegs of health. But if I'm going to count, it's only 1. There's formulated my plan. I mean, do I just? Whoops! I don't want to concede, but the testimony rings of the truth. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No, please don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise. Still, I'm sorry. Sorry, I meant to. But you could tell from the state of the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you didn't know that he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is a part of the Gem Ninja's costume. So I didn't think So I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because he was going to expose Matt's weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I ran back to Matt's room. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought that if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. So you were the one who stabbed the victim with the knife? It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I use the button somehow, I can make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it on Mr. Onguard's hakama? Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I finished, I ran into a bit of an inconvenience. An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. That's when I used a Nico Samurai. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Or maybe that was a different tone. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? I think that was the correct tone. Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. What is the secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave it... What? Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Onguard's room and planted the button? Into Matt's hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word! What does this all mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Onguard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure.
I had no choice but to believe in her words.
Francisca, you almost fucking sabotaged yourself, my dude. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain that she's not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor! The defense still...
Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as a murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. Uh-oh, you couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright.
But... Oh no!
Miss Andrews, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Ah!
Oh no! He didn't even give us a chance to wait. Ah, Nick! You're gonna ruin your speaks! Oh look, his spike looks like a feather. Or like a wing. That's cool. Fly away with your hair, bro. Today's trial, it's over. And I didn't win an acquittal.
Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Huh? Edgeworth?
What is it?
Before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at one thing. That card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it?
Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't really remember at the time you asked me about it. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remembered just now. I found this in the room on that day.
The room? Not day.
Yes.
I was peeking there the entire time. You can see it next to his fucking arm.
I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card? Next to the victim's body?
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea you stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time!
What? I didn't mean to! What is this all about?
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. And he thought he killed him at one point. That card! What in the world is it? And what does it mean? Are you not gonna fucking tell me now?
Oh, to be continued. Oh shit, but what's gonna happen with me?
Well, let's find out. I'm probably at my limit, but I kind of still just want to play more. I want to play more, dude. This adventure is gonna be long. I'm gonna definitely regret this. I'm gonna absolutely regret this, but I'm still gonna do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go.